Okay, some of this is not repeat, although it's all related. All the data is connected to all the other data, right? Information, knowledge. Um, Seal of Solomon, the ring that Rothschild wore. I figure y'all know what a legion is, right? Roman legions. Okay, remember the Roman legions? Okay, here's some history for you, real quick. You can look it up yourself. I love history. Okay, I realized as a child that I'm not going to be able to put a puzzle together very fast when you understand what a timeline is and how a timeline works. Even if you go watch the video with Laura Eisenhower about bifurcation of a timeline. What is the bifurcation of a timeline? Split. Now, because of where I went to graduate school and went deep into what I call the psychological programming, because it all begins with learning. Okay. Remember, I talked about a blank disc. Remember the tabula rasa? Who was that? Hobbes, who came up with that term definition, right? We get so hung up on labels and boxes and containers that we put things in, right? And that becomes part of the programming, which is no different than an operating system. Just break down, go into the operating system of Windows, the kernel, right? And those are all rule-based functions, okay, of how it operates. It's an operating system. Okay, your DNA is an operating system. Okay, it's a data transfer terminal, right? Because you're experiencing electronic information. So you have magnetic light moments, which essentially means what you're experiencing in your light. So how much light are you running on? That depends on the speed of your electrons. Superconductors. Why do you think they steal gold and silver? Why is that so valuable? What relationship do they have with electrons? Right? And all the elements in the periodic table and bigger periodic tables. Neurons, neurotransmitters, chemical messengers, right? All that stuff. So they know how to hack the mind. But when you're running on an enormous amount of neurotransmission power, okay, which is your heart, which is your light will, to spin that Merkaba, otherwise known as the chariots of the gods. Did you know that? I saw my dad reading that book, and I thought, what do you know, Pop? You're getting it. Okay? Um, I realized that since my dad was in the space program, right, X Projects, worked for a company called Reaction Motors. My dad was a senior design engineer that built the XLR 99 motor, which was, as I remember, it ran on liquid alcohol that powered the X-15. Remember the X-15 went way out there? Yeah, that was Reaction Motors, which was a division of Morton Thiokol. So my dad worked out in, where was it, Palmdale? The Palmdale facility, okay, Edwards Air Force Base. So, you know, a little 4-year-old kid that's getting a grand tour of all this stuff is at least getting an idea of the propulsion systems they were using then, which would have been in the 1950s, you know, because my dad flew for the United States Navy on carriers and land base at Guadalcanal, and then he flew Combat Air Patrol to protect General Patton's troops. So my dad knew a lot about how to get around. You know, he was an aeronautical engineer. He used to deliver planes for Grumman Aircraft to the Pensacola, which was the Navy's flight, not Navy Flight Test Center, but that's where they put pilots through school. And then later on it was Jacksonville, where my father was an instructor. So I had the great opportunity and benefit as a child growing up to learn through an aeronautical engineer who was a great mathematician and a creative artist. Okay, it was my father who always instilled on me, it's not your intelligence, it's your creativity. Okay, or your greatest, how did he put it? See, they don't have creativity. So you can imagine a being that's got intelligence but doesn't have any creativity. So if they can bifurcate, okay, the creativity out of you to create a different reality that you want to experience because you have the ability to do that because you have imagination, then you're not held captive to artificial intelligence, right? Okay, which means you're in charge of your own timeline, which is your own learning journey. Right? So you have spirit guides that are helping you along the way because you're seeking a pathway. Okay? You're seeking a pathway that is through the light to be of greater service and benefit to the cosmos. So that means you want to grow your light body, which is your Merkaba, which means you're aware of more information because you're now hooked up to larger intelligent celestial bodies that you're communicating to and from with. which means you're processing an enormous amount of information that is flowing through all of the circuits that represent the information system, which is a larger network. You know, remember local area networks, wide area networks? How about a universe network? Okay, imagine that you can communicate with the universe just where you are with somebody else in the universe. Right? Translate it right on the spot, wherever you happen to be. Imagine that. Right? Laniakea wants to make a communication signal to you, and you're here inside this planet ship with Mother Earth. Look at the size of her. That's why I've always said that the greatest, most beautiful physics class is nature. Nature is the teacher. You know, so you can imagine growing up as a small child, and you're always in nature, learning through her. And you're looking and observing others that are going into these classrooms. You realize they're going in another direction. But that's your choice to go do that. But what it tells me is, how come you're not out here with us, with her? Because she's the real teacher in the classroom. How does that work? How did they not know that? Spider's web, legions, Rothschilds hold the ring that he has. Legions of vampires, demons, dark stuff that has a communication connection with you. So you got to find to be able to clear the cobwebs. So I just had a gentleman come in here who was telling me he's clearing the cobwebs. He came up, he said, I know what a macabre is, a light spirit body. I'm letting go of all the cobwebs. That a boy. You have no idea how much that warmed my heart, how happy I was for him. Just raise my energy up, raise my spirit, dance up and down and play that drum. Okay? He's getting it. He's made a remarkable recovery from what happened to him. This is the guy that tried to kill himself getting run over by a truck. He was doing crystal meth. Living in Las Vegas as a bartender. Okay, amazing progress. This is a beautiful story to tell, and that's what we do. We tell stories of recovery from everything that they throw at us. They control legions, Rothschild, the Ring of Solomon, Solomon's Seal, Satan, Saturn, Dracos, reptilians, you know. It's dark shit, right? So you're in a war, okay, a spiritual war. You get something out. What does a spider do? You get caught in that web, huh? It dissolves you. Feeds on your energy until you're gone. That's how it works. That's what the World Wide Web is. See? So you know when I go on it, and I know that when Patty Broussard goes on it, and those that are Indians and spiritual people understand that